All right, campers, quiet down. Now, I know some of you are really bummed. Summer's ending and that school is starting, but...
Jerry, sit the hell down.
Oh, Gary.
I'm not going to say it again, Gary.
Tonight's the last night of Camp RAD Strangeness. And every year, Tyler and I's tradition to tell the story about something terrible that happened at this very lake. As many of you know, Lake Lanier is a man-made lake or reservoir here in North Georgia, fed by the waters of the Chattahoochee River and the Chestatee River. Since Lake Lanier was created in the 1950s, it has been the site of many strange and unusual happenings. Some say they see a woman wandering up and down the old State Route 53 bridge, wearing a blue dress, walking around lost, disoriented, and without any hands. Tonight, we're going to tell you the true story of Delia Parker Young, the Lady of the Lake. It was a warm night in 1958, just 2 years after the Jerry D. Jackson Bridge on State Route 53 was built. Susie Roberts picked up her friend Delia Parker Young for a night on the town. Delia, no doubt wanting to be dressed to the nines, borrowed a beautiful blue dress just for the occasion. Their feet likely thumped to the pulse of Elvis Presley's latest hit, King Creole, as the faint glow of the headlights on Susie's 1954 Ford sedan lit their way through the southern night. They were two rebels on the run, headed to the Three Gables Roadhouse, and they never made it home. After spending some time at the Three Gables Roadhouse, the pair began to head back toward Gainesville, stopping first for gas at a nearby filling station. For reasons unknown, but perhaps because it was late at night and something spooked them, or maybe they had spent all their money at the dance hall. Or even, perhaps they were feeling a little extra rebellious after a few stiff drinks. The two ended up speeding off from the filling station without paying for their gas. We've all had moments like this in our youth, laughing in a car, windows down, the radio turned up, music blaring, glancing over at our friend in the passenger seat just for a split second. All that was found that night were skid marks along the road near the State Road 53 bridge. It looked as though the car had crossed the center line and went off the side of the road, plummeting into the dark waters of Lake Lanier below. Police and divers entered the lake and searched the area, but to no avail. Neither the vehicle nor any remains were discovered. More than a year passed. Locals told stories of seeing a ghostly, handless apparition sauntering down the highway in a blue dress. The ghost appeared to be lost, they said, almost as if she was searching. But for what? No one could say. Then, one early morning, a local fisherman discovered human remains that had floated to the surface of the lake beneath the Jerry D. Jackson Bridge. With missing hands and having been terribly decomposed, it's no surprise then that the body could not be identified by coroners. But even then, locals who had driven over the bridge time and time again were already convinced of its identity. The mysterious body had to be Delia Parker Young. The woman's body was buried in Alta Vista Cemetery in an unmarked grave. And then the years passed, and those turned into decades. Stories continued of people witnessing a handless woman in a blue dress wandering along the old bridge. Visiting the old bridge late at night became a rite of passage for local high school students, as generations of young thrill-seekers sped by in search of the Lady of the Lake. By November of 1990, Susie Roberts was all but forgotten, and the mysterious body found by a fisherman in 1959 lay resting in an unmarked tomb. For all practical purposes, there was little evidence left from the final ride of that Ford sedan. No fabric remaining but the bridge, the highway, and the myth. That's when fate intervened. Years of wear and tear had finally caught up with the Jerry D. Jackson Bridge. As work began on the renovations in 1990 that would expand and refit the bridge, construction workers dredging the bottom of the lake made a startling discovery. Filled with mud, half buried on the lake's bottom, they found the twisted wreckage of a 1954 Ford. The bones of Susie Roberts were still inside. Finally, after 34 years, residents of Northeast Georgia had a definitive answer to their mystery. Susie Roberts' body was able to be identified using old dental records and some of the belongings found within the vehicle. The unmarked tomb was relabeled with Delia's name. But despite being found and identified, sometimes, even now, as drivers carefully cross the old bridge, in her blue dress, lost on dark nights, looking for her hands and her way home, is the Lady of the Lake. Welcome back, campers, to another episode of your favorite podcast, That Would Be Rad, a podcast that majors in 80s and 90s nostalgia, comic culture, all things paranormal, and minors in retro video games, tabletop RPGs, pre-internet mysteries, and raising our kids to be half as cool as we were back in the 80s. We are your camp counselors, Woody Brown
and Tyler Bentz.
Man, what about that old
Chestnut? Man. Well, I had heard about that. Well, obviously, both of us live near Lake Lanier, and it's a man-made lake that has sort of a sordid history.
Yeah.
You know, they flooded a bunch of towns, and I mean, it is massive. So obviously, we've all heard of Lake Lanier. If you're a Georgia native, you more than likely have. But I had heard, what's funny is like, I never really viewed Lake Lanier as being like spooky or anything like that, but until I was watching, I think it's called like Expedition X. It's one of it's like a Josh Gates show. He's amazing, but it's kind of like his spin-off show. So he sends like these two people out. Basically, the show comes on and it's like the most haunted lake in America, and I'm like, ooh, what is this about? And I'm thinking it's going to be like the Great Lakes or, you know, something like that. And there it is, Lake Lanier. It has the most missing persons per capita of any lake. It has the most drownings per year of any lake by like double any other lake.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
Even like what's interesting as I was looking at this, the amount of visitors that Lake Lanier gets annually is about the same that go and visit the Louvre in France.
Wow.
And you know, in this article that I read just about like all of what makes it one of the most deadly lakes in America, it basically says that, you know, just because it's that many people, well, there's some nearby lakes that get just about the same amount of visitors annually and they don't have the same kind of crazy stuff happening. It does have a pretty intense, honestly, history that, you know, I didn't really want to get into necessarily on this episode, but, you know, I remember kind of hearing about this kind of spooky story before, but I kind of never really heard a lot about some of the other stuff. Like people report kind of swimming and feeling almost like hands pulling them down.
Yeah,
And
I've always heard that.
there's all kinds of like crazy reports. And part of the reason why I avoid going into more or finding out more detail about those stories is, well, I swim in Lake Lanier.
Yeah, right.
Quite a bit, training for triathlons and stuff. So I don't want to be thinking about that stuff
Yeah.
whenever I'm swimming.
Well, I had never heard of. I think they referred to her as like the woman in blue, on that episode of Expedition X, but I don't remember them saying anything about recovering the body and stuff.
Yeah. What's interesting is apparently that was like big national news
Wow.
in 1990 whenever it happened. I found a bunch of old articles and stuff, news articles about it
I
happening.
hear about this. That's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really a big news watcher
same.
in 1990.
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with it, but it does seem like something that
Sort of somewhat
would get passed
paranormal.
around,
Yeah.
at school kind of thing. Of course, I was overseas, but no matter what, I mean, I have heard. So that bridge essentially goes from Gainesville to Dawsonville, basically, and I don't know how many times I've crossed it.
Dude, that's on the way to my wife's parents' house.
Yeah, countless times. But I do and have heard of people talking about seeing that apparition before.
Wow.
So it's
You know what's weird? Well, no, I'm gonna wait for an episode for my wife.
Oh, dude, I just
For my
thought of
wife
that,
to tell
man.
the story. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
she's got to come on in Halloween.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not. Maybe not the same thing, but pretty close, man.
Yeah, well, just to bury the lead
kinda
and not to
different.
get into it, we saw something coming back, and it was in the middle of the night. It was like 1 or 2. We had stayed late at a friend's house,
And that's it.
and that's it. Thanks for,
And when we're gonna,
you can find
listen
us
to-
over on Instagram.
No, I mean that's it. Don't tell any more of the story.
Well, no. But we happened to see something, and then that's it.
Doing it.
I was just going to go a little further.
Yeah, no. I already that is literally whenever I cut you off just now.
Well, did you say?
You said we happened to see something. I said, and that's it. And then you just repeated it and said, that's it. It's okay.
I thought that I should be the one that said that's it.
Well, that is the show. That's our season finale. We thank you.
You guys have been awesome.
No, look, this is the last show of season 1. And so I thought, I kind of wanted to tell a story that's local to us. We had kind of hinted around about Lake Lanier being kind of a scary lake. And I kind of loosely remembered this story and I kind of looked it up and that's why I wanted to tell it around the campfire. But, in celebration of this being the final, I mean, first off, man, can we just talk real quick about the fact that we have done now 50 episodes.
50 episodes. That's amazing. That's so big to me. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's almost been like a full year since we started this. And it's one of those things that we just kind of one day decided to do it. And in my memory, it's kind of like we decided to do it. We pressed record and we got going.
yeah, I mean, for us, honestly, it started out with, I mean, at least for me specifically, and I feel like you and I had this talk, but it was really like one of those things where it was sort of like, our kids are getting a little older, and I feel like we had been talking about like, man, how cool would it be, that basically somebody can have a podcast and then, their kids, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, after we're gone, 50 years down the road, and they can listen to like their best friends, like, and them talking and like talking about what music they were into or like, that would be amazing. Like if I could.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, can you imagine like having something like that?
Yeah.
Like of your parents?
Yeah. I mean, it would be.
Or grandparents or great grandparents.
Priceless. So that's why we kind of started it. And then also it was sort of like, we've been in bands all these years and it's like, well, we have the mics. Well, we have the preamps. Well, we have the.
Yeah, right.
We have all the Wave suite, all the plugins we have. So we already had everything. And it was like, we know how to do it. I know how to design graphics. Woody knows a bunch about sound design and, I know about mixing. And it's just sort of this like, it was like we already had all the tools and it's like, why have we waited this long to
Right.
you know.
Well, and too, like we were like talking on the phone, and because we're adults with families and stuff, it's like we would spend maybe like an hour on the phone talking. You would tell me about some sort of like super interesting concept or,
right.
cryptid or whatever. And it was just enough to like pique my interest, but then my day would get going and I would kind of forget about it. And then we would talk about something else. And then finally it was like, man, this is like the perfect reason to kind of have to, be laser beam focused on one specific topic so that I can learn more about it, or so that we can dig a little deeper. And then also just, kind of like in last week's episode, what a perfect excuse to kind of revisit some of these old movies and old songs and comics and books and all this kind of stuff than to kind of have a podcast about it. Now, secondary to that, sort of the outcome that has kind of happened now is that we have these incredible listeners that we, interact with all the time, but also, have this kind of mini community within our That Would Be Rad sort of audience that interact with one another. And it's just become this super cool thing that we are just, I think, super lucky to be a part of. It's just awesome. Man.
Yeah.
So I thought too, one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about in this show is I kind of want to talk about some of our like favorite episodes or moments this year, over the past year. I know that's, it's kind of hard to think of out of 50 episodes, but I jotted a couple ideas down, and then I kind of want to give people maybe like a peek behind the scenes in terms of, is podcasting, easy. You guys get to hear our sort of final product or whatever, but man, sometimes there's stuff that happens kind of behind the scenes that are just hilarious, at least to us. And I kind of put together a little bit that I think you guys will enjoy. So before we do that,
after these messages, we'll be right back.
America's future can be determined by our dreams and our visions.
It was very intense, bright light.
For over 200 years, there have been reports of giant man-like creatures.
From another dimension, another world, I don't know.
The most intriguing mystery on the North American continent.
You're listening to That Would Be Rad.
Well, actually, can I go first?
yeah, man.
I got to say, one of my all-time favorite moments, and honestly, this episode, story, account, whatever you want to call it, was really sort of the genesis of what kind of made us want to start the episode. And that is when I heard this story.
Start the episode? You mean start the podcast?
I mean podcast, yeah, sorry. And it's the story that, being sort of an avid fan of the paranormal and UFOs and abduction, like the Fae and anything paranormal that I could get my hands on, I was into. So finding out about this particular case was really sort of like, how have I missed this? And it blew me away. And when I explained it to you, it was like, wow, dude, we've got to do.
I already know what you're going to say.
And that is Sam the Sandown Clown.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what made us really start the podcast. And I think it was, I guess it was 2 episodes, right? Sort of?
No, dude. No, I mean, like, what's interesting about that is, like, we, that was, like you said, sort of the catalyst for us, like, wanting to do a podcast, or at least, like, really kind of all those things that we talked about earlier, but then certainly, like, that, discovering that story is kind of what really kind of just pushed us over the edge, so to speak, and we didn't even talk about that until 7 episodes in.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
Yes. So, but I'm glad that we did, because, one of the things that I...
I know why. I thought it was a multi-episode because it was all part of the Halloween.
Yeah.
Which kind of had like a collective sort of theme of Sam the Sandown Clown, Night of the Harlequin, sort of that whole Pied Piper mythos kind of thing. So it was all sort of this kind of like swirling thing that like, it was like, wow, I think we may be onto something. And, not saying we were sort of the first, but like to me, definitely the Night of the Harlequin story had really resonated with me years and years ago. And, when we heard about the Sandown Clown case, it was like, wait a minute, this kind of sounds like, this feels like we're in the same area. And then like the Pied Piper of Hamlish or Hamlin, they all kind of felt like this same sort of undercurrent, the same kind of theme. And so I love like our whole Halloween season last year, and this year is going to be just as good.
Yeah, man, I loved that too. And it's funny too, because at the time, it just felt like a lot because we were just like doing these like stories that involved a lot of sound design and stuff.
And a lot of
but
research.
Now it's kind of like second nature. Yeah, that's true. A lot of reading, a lot of research, doing that. There are a couple moments in this season that kind of stand out to me. One of my favorites was the chance, I think it's episode 23. We called it Super Bowl Sunday because that's when I recorded it. But I got to essentially interview my son.
Oh,
and it was just kind of like it falls right into that category of us being able to look back at something 20 years from now. And I think it's going to be a really cool kind of, moment between my son and I that we got to capture. So that was one of my favorite ones. And also
mine too.
I really loved the 2 episodes when you kind of surprised me with the topic, So there's 2 of them. There's episode 26, which is the Mandela effect.
Yep.
And then again on episode 35, which was the Mayday mystery. Both of those, you kind of was just like, I'm showing up. I'm going to start talking about this.
Well, you're leaving one out, though.
Which one?
The Parallel Dimension Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
Everyday Chemistry album.
Yep. Everyday Chemistry, yeah. It's episode 31. Yeah, Everyday Chemistry. Yeah, man, that was those 3. It was just fun to kind of like show up, not know what we were going to be talking about, and then you kind of hit me with all that stuff. Yeah. Over time, I mean, you had kind of told me about all this stuff here and there. And most of the time, especially years ago, I'd be like,
you just ignore me. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever, bro. No, I didn't ignore you. There's just, gosh. I mean, and then one of I think my favorite, even though, I mean, that's hard to say because we did Sam the Sandown Ghost Clown, Night of the Harlequin, even just talked about Halloween in the 80s. But like the ultimate one was our Halloween Spooktacular.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like episode 10 where we told our own scary stories, that had happened to us. And I'm so glad I finally got to tell that story. That it's the only real scary one that I can think of that's happened to me from back when I was in college. And then, of course, we had one of our listeners, Clay, send us his scary story. And then,
which, by the way, was number 1 was awesome, and number 2, we're super thankful and we appreciate it. And number 3, Halloween's just right around the corner, folks. So if you would like to be featured. If you would like to have your story maybe in like a giant mixtape episode, feel free to voice record that on your voice memo and just shoot us an email at thatwouldberadpod@gmail.com, and I thank you.
And we'll make it happen, yeah. And then, of course, that was when we had Michael McMillan from Bigfoot Collectors Club come in and tell his scary story as well. One of our favorites that he's told on his podcast several times. But it's it was really, really cool, and we were super thankful for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we started our podcast, I've kind of listened to podcasts for years and years, and kind of at the very beginning, like the first one I listened to as far as sort of the paranormal and stuff was the Paranormal Podcast with Jim Harold, and he's a giant in the podcast world and a real sort of innovator. And then there was another podcast that I listened to called The Grizzly Bear Egg Cafe, which was one of my favorite podcasts of all time. And it was literally exactly what Woody and I do. It's just 2 best friends that have been friends since like, high school or middle school or something. And they would just get together and talk every week. And so I sort of felt like, oh man, this, our podcast was sort of a blend of the 2 of those, Yeah,
man, for sure. Of course, like any opportunity that I get to do like any kind of sound design, I just love. And I mean, that's one thing that I've found with our show that is part of my, like, I don't know, the part that I really love the most is the sound design aspect, like creating that suspense or, just enhancing the storytelling in some way that is really going to kind of pull the listener in is just, man, it's so much fun. And it's funny too, because sometimes, if we do one where it's just taking me hours and hours and hours and hours to do, we'll kind of, you'll sort of generously say like, well, this week we'll talk about this or whatever. It won't really like take that much time. And then as I'm doing, I'm like, yeah, but we kind of want this, and and then we kind of skirt around the whether or not they're going to be taking down episodes when we do our music episodes. When we're talking about what our favorite songs were and stuff. Again, that's like one of those things where no, I don't have to put all those songs in there, but I do anyway.
But man, it makes those episodes so great.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of interesting is I am the opposite. I absolutely hate mixing and creating graphics on Sunday nights around 12:30.
Yeah. Man, cool, man. Way to stay positive, huh? Give him that old Tyler positivity there.
Old positivity chestnut. Oh, one thing that I really liked I loved like our whole sort of Christmas season, and like, obviously, we're clearly not the first to do this. Like, some of my favorite podcasts have done it too, but I do love taking sort of the sort of cliche kind of Christmas, all the sort of positive, like Santa and, elves and Christmas trees. I love all that stuff, but I really liked sort of diving into like the Belschnickel and, Krampus and like all these sort of darker kind of concepts surrounding Christmas. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. And like I wouldn't necessarily lean towards like the Krampus or Kramp.
I think it's Krampus. Technically, that's why I said it just then, but I say Krampus all the time. Yeah, that's how I say it.
But it was fun to, again, because of the podcast, have that reasoning behind like having to watch it,
Although I will say,
which has also helped contribute to my VHS collection.
Oh yeah,
because I'm always like, man, I got to watch it for the podcast, I got to get this tape for the podcast.
Which, by the way, Amelia and I were just in Wizard yesterday, and Dustin told me there's a shop in our area. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's a shop called Wizards that is really badass, and we go in there all the time. And he was talking about having a bunch of new tapes, and I told him I'd try to get you and I to run by this week sometime.
Nice, man. Yeah, I definitely need to get back in there. So I think now is the perfect time for us to kind of take a look behind the curtain and have our what do I say?
You're off to a great start.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm saying like leave it in because it's basically what they're about to hear.
Yeah, true. Anyways, in an effort to show you that making a podcast isn't as easy as it might seem, here we go.
Previously on That Would Be Rad.
Woody, I'm about to piss my pants.
Yeah, no, and dude,
can I pee real fast? You want to take a pee
real
break?
Real fast.
Okay, bye. I mean, hold. Or is it?
I think so. And they just came out with like a role-playing game, apparently. But yeah, it's like I don't really want to learn like new rules, man.
Yeah, that
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Take us there, Sketch.
Sketch.
Boy, already starting with the ums.
Well,
and, how about like, hey, are you
Frenchmen and Brazilians?
No, hey, oh man, I wish we knew how to say. Hold on, let's do this Google.
What's up?
I'll ask the lady right now what the movie is. Friends in Portuguese. Let's see.
Catch hell from this from Raphael.
Amigos.
Nope. Just go ahead. I mean, make it like, hey, are you...
Friends and aliens?
Yeah.
God. Boy, howdy. Freaking allergies here. Well, I guess you can just cut
No,
it.
you can just, yeah, exactly, man. Welcome to the f***ing sound editing, dude. Have we met? Hey, pal, something's good. You finally made it to the recording session. We're still proud of you.
You kind of sounded like a robot there, actually.
Well, welcome to the club, friend. All right, you saw Tomorrow War.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I ended up staying up till 2:45.
Not interested in how long you stayed up, because that's part of the reason why you're late.
Yeah, it
so scratch that from the
I
story.
am pretty tired.
And tell me what you think about the movie.
You know,
Here we go.
I thought it was really cool, just from like an artistic point of view. Just from this chair.
Well,
man. From
I
an
don't care about the chair.
like character design point of view, man, those monsters are awesome. Wow.
Yes, dude. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because although, did I say that? See, man, it's just like real life and the podcast is starting to blend so heavily together.
bleeding
That I don't
edge.
even remember if I mentioned it on the show, but man, I think the monster design was
Awesome.
amazing.
And
dude.
boy, the
like,
effects.
all the things that it does,
Yeah.
holy smokes, man.
Yeah. The effects are amazing too. Like they really put some serious money into it.
Yeah, you remember I said that, but then Johnny was like, well,
Did he?
yeah, because I think he had seen like A Quiet Place 2 first, and then he saw this, and he was like, man, the monsters aren't even close to
See, I haven't seen A Quiet Place 2.
me neither. Good news. Trash guys are here, and I can hear them from a mile
Oh, yeah,
away.
That sucks. Our trash is on Tuesday.
I don't like your tone.
I'm just saying.
Dude, what is the Michael Scott thing when he's like, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's
Is it
God.
Is it him saying
It's
he
my
wishes
favorite
he
scene.
could be part of an inside joke?
Dude. No, that's awesome too. Hope to be a part of one someday. No, I'm talking about the part where he is talking to Pam, and he's, oh my gosh, dude, I don't know if I can get through it. And he's just kind of sick of talking to her. He's like, oh, getting a call, I gotta go. And she's like, no one's on the line, Michael. And he's just like kind of quiet, and he's like, oh, okay. And then like they kind of start talking a little bit about something, and he's like, here it is again. I gotta take this.
She's
And
like, still no call.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, that's really funny. God, I missed that show so bad.
I'm back, NBC. Very proud. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Tracy Morgan on 30 Rock. That the first episode, dude, is one of the best episodes of television of all time.
Who's Tracy Morgan?
Because they're like, huh?
I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh,
Dude, half of our
and
funny inside jokes revolve around Tracy Morgan.
Hey, Woody.
We have buy sell.
God. Oh, that's what I need to read first. Let me read this first, dude.
So, are you reading this like?
Shut your mouth. You don't worry about it. All you got to do is be quiet.
No.
That's it.
But I'm just saying.
Very easy. You could have shown up late. You just showed up late just to sit there and be quiet for a second. Thank you. No, I'm going to read this so that I can use some of these words in that intro audio. You understand? Like the time capsule piece. It's not really going to be. You'll see, man. I'm reading
the little mini intro bumper.
the account.
Thing. Yeah.
Well, and it's going to probably end up being more than just mini, because this is kind of like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Okay. So just sit tight for a second. Drink some more Red Bull.
I'm drinking away.
You don't have to necessarily be quiet, but it'll be distracting to you.
Hey, so
Welcome, I guess.
So we're just going.
Take it away.
Shut up. Are you just going? What was I gonna say?
Oh boy. Keep going.
It's gonna be fun though. Dude, like real quick, dude.
Jesus.
I cannot stop watching. I'm not that strong of. Dude, I cannot.
What about like when he's just like, he's like, I don't swim, and he's like, well, he doesn't swim, and blah blah blah, and then he's just like, and like it's not in the Olympics yet.
The camera pulls in.
Hopefully it will be. He's like, yeah, hopefully it will be soon. Then he's like, we can use time. I'm not that strong. Dude, I showed Woodrow that, man, at like. I showed Woodrow that last night, like as he was going to bed. Like we watched it on repeat.
Did he
dude,
like it?
For like, dude, he was laughing.
Oh,
his butt off. But he's like, I mean, that's improper grammar. I'm like, dude, you're in 3rd grade. Quiet down.
Oh God, it is just like.
I don't swim. hours, doesn't swim. So, I mean, no, of course not. Nobody is just going to walk up and hand us a gold medal, especially since men's synchro isn't even in the 88 Olympics yet.
But that's okay, because we could use the time. Because I'm not that strong a swimmer.
But, I mean, that just means that, you know, like 92.
Dude, his face, man. Oh, my God. Dude, Martin, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Ann and I talk about this constantly. Martin Short is the funniest person to ever live, man.
Yeah, he's...
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh,
God, he's
dude.
so funny, man. I haven't seen... what was his big...
we're
Oh,
gonna do an
Clifford. I
episode
haven't
about
seen
that.
that in so long, but I love that movie.
I watched that, I don't know, a couple months ago. It's on HBO, I think.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the guy... What's, like, his dad's name? What's that actor's name?
Dude, he just passed away, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
He was like...
Moving on.
Who? Oh. I thought you just said Julian. I was like, I don't think that's it, but maybe it is.
Dude, the difficulty of being able to say the word strong is what gets me every time. He's like, I'm not that strong.
Strong?
Oh my gosh, dude. And then like when he's like, we could use the time, and then he like swallows like really hard. It's audible, dude. You can hear him swallowing, dude. And then he's got to take his time. And my God, dude, that's just one of the funniest things.
And the other dude too is so funny because he's it's like the straight man kind of thing, but he's so funny on how he like first he says, yeah, I mean, you know, he can't swim, so he just kind of like tries to like
he just
brush over it.
Oh, yeah, God. It's because they're like brothers, man.
Yeah. Which, by the way, dude, that clip up top when they're like smiling is so funny.
Yeah, dude, it's the best.
Good morning, campers. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, That Would Be Rad, a podcast that majors in 80s and 90s nostalgia, comic culture, all things paranormal, and minors in. Let me take that again.
Boy, you sounded just like wrong. You're like, and minors in.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What should we do this time? Hey, all you, something to do with like Camp Rad Strangeness.
Hey, all you camp counselors. And
yeah, but then I'm going to say, I'm your counselor, Tyler Bentz. But what
would
would
say like camp counselor so that people don't think we have like a psychiatry podcast.
Psychiatry.
Yeah, just say,
man, I started following, I know this is off topic. I started following this lady who was Randy Rhoads' sister. You know, Randy Rhoads from Ozzy Osbourne's old guitar player. You know, like Crazy Train.
Yeah. I thought, wait. Is it Randy? I thought that was
Tony Iommi. No, that was Black Sabbath.
Yeah, okay, that's Black Sabbath.
No, Randy Rhoads died in a like horrific like plane accident that I think it's something crazy. It's something like, and we can cut this out, but I think like the plane, they were like trying to fly like really low and they like hit him or something, or maybe he was on the plane. I can't remember, but it's pretty awful. But I followed his sister because she like has like all of his gear, you know, his like guitar and flying bees and stuff. And now I go on my explore page, it's like all 80s metal bands. It's like Kiss, I just say Kiss. Kiss, Black Sabbath, old Aerosmith.
because the algorithm got you.
Yeah, got me. Kiss.
Oh, jeez. I love that. Hey, let me ask you a question. You ever heard of that band Kiss?
Hey, do you like the band Kiss?
Up top, before I get into this thing. So, all right.
Okay, good. Where are we at? Okay.
I don't know why we're still. Okay, well, that was quite a mouthful for you, man.
Sure was.
But you made it.
Sneak in.
You made it.
We did it.
Hell.
It's almost starting to sound like pig Latin.
It gets worse and worse every time, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah, it's like you
it's more and more pronounced.
It's more pronounced, and it's like you get like sort of.
I've already forgotten. Sake. Hold on.
You're doing great, pal.
Dude,
It's a
remember
lot.
how long it took us to research for fucking Batman?
Yeah.
I got 12 movies.
Want to go get a little ice pack to set it on it?
No, not a whole lot I can do about it, man. I'm also worried that this is just going to be so much rambling, dude.
This is a great episode. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, hold on just a second, dude. Hey, Jane, I'm still recording, baby. You come and give me a kiss or you show me your braid? It's so pretty. It's an Elsa braid. Give me a kiss. I love you. All right. Close that door quietly.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going.
Well, I think this was a perfect end to Camp Rad Strangeness.
It's not the end exactly, because next week's the finale.
Well, I thought that was the episode 1, remember?
No. Next week, so we're going to record 2 episodes coming up.
What?
Listen, man, the next one that's going to be released as episode 50 is going to be the sound design camp scariness.
Oh, right.
Because this is episode 49.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me cut all that. Let me start over.
So, Camp Rad Strangeness.
Strangeness.
Boy, let me try that again. So drunk. Camp Rad, Jesus. Next week, not only is Camp Rad Strangeness so drunk, not only is Camp Rad Strangeness coming to a close, but yeah, so right out of the gate, it's going to be kind of like a typical, whatchamacallit?
F it.
Camp Camp, man. Oh, no. Oh. With myth. Keith. With missing God.
Let's do the
I'm sorry, I missed
let's
it.
do the intro and then that's a little harsh.
So basically, it'll be like, okay, here we go. Show is done next week as well. That didn't sound as good.
To a close.
Yeah, talking so slow. And that's what happens when you record for 2 hours straight.
Oh yeah.
But even
Let's
then,
take that again.
Which one? The whole thing?
Coroners.
Coroners. I said it right.
Coroners.
That's what I said.
He said corners.
I didn't say corners.
It sounded like coroners.
That the body could not be identified by coroners. Come on, man. All right. Here goes the story. It was I like how you cleared your throat even though you're not saying anything. He's just getting in the vibe. You're just helping out with the vibes.
Yeah, I really am.
If my throat, you're just helping me.
I'm like, come on, Woody, clear that throat.
You got this, man. Clear it up.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, we, you can find before.
Oh. Can they?
All right, cool.
Dude, so I was thinking after you said that last night, I'm going to start it out with like,
I don't like it at all.
Oops. Nope. I'm never going to put that in there, dude. So it's been an incredible season for us, our first season ever. What would you call that? The inaugural season, the first season.
Yeah.
The debut season.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so just because we are who we are.
The infant stage.
Exactly. Because of who we are, we've got big things planned for season 2, and it's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. And I'm just really looking forward to diving into that.
Yeah, me too.
I think most of all, like we say in every show, you guys being on this journey with us throughout this past season really, really means the world to us. We just don't take it lightly, and consider you guys part of our family.
Yeah. Before Woody gets to it, I'm just going to go ahead and cut you off at the pass. You can find us over at Instagram, where there's just an awesome little community. There's, we kind of consider you guys our family, and it's like, every day that we wake up, me around 7, Woody around 3:30. First thing we do is hop on and see what's going down over on our Instagram in the comment sections. So yeah, we love it. You still got plenty of time. If you want to send in a spooky story, a weird encounter, something that you saw, or something that's just a little weird and like a little left of center, even if it's really, really short, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out thing that, you write or whatever, but, just record it on your phone and send it to our Gmail. That would be radpod@gmail.com, like I said before.
Because here's the thing. You don't have to record
Okay.
it, but I got to tell you again, kind of going back to like what my favorite thing to do is in terms of sound design. If you were too shy to have your own voice,
Right.
On the radio, I get it. So if you want to write it out, man, nothing would make me more excited than to like take your story written out and create and turn it into this, sound design,
Theater of the mind.
theater of the ears, storytelling. Also, if you're up for it, like our listener Clay was, using your own voice and doing that with it would also be super, super cool. So,
Yeah, gang,
don't
be
shy.
like Clay.
Yeah, don't be shy. Send us your stories because we want to use it coming up in season 2.
Also, another thing I would be remiss to say, but by the time you hear this, it will be already over, is Free Comic Book Day. So hopefully you guys and gals went down to your favorite local comic shop and checked it out because it's always super fun. Woody and I always have a tradition. Our good buddy Johnny and Woody's kids and my daughter Amelia, we always kind of get together, and it's a super good time. We get up real early and show up, wait outside in line. Do you think you're gonna bring the little pup this year?
Oh yeah. Jane will go.
Really?
Oh yeah, man.
I don't know that Elliot is quite there.
No.
She just turned 3, so
Yeah, I wouldn't have brought Jane at 3, but Jane's 5 now, so.
yeah. Well, you got anything else, buddy?
No, I mean, just again, thank you guys so much for making our first season just above and beyond
Lit.
our expectations. Yeah, totally lit, bro.
That's what the kids are saying. Okay. You guys mean a lot to us. We do it because of you, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So thank you for giving us a totally rad first season and becoming a That Would Be Rad member of the family. So we appreciate you, we love you, and as always,
be rad.
That's the way it goes. Time where I just needed some sunshine. You were already dead, for you became a ghost. You always said our future would be a parade of flowers, but now all that's left is a single rose. That's the way it goes. The I don't know what else we're gonna do. Maybe the critics and all the bad reviews are true. Well, maybe we'll just write another song about nameless girls and cigarettes and you. So let's kiss while we're young, baby, 'cause I can't promise I'll keep my hands to myself. Oh, well, let's drive far away. And I said, oh, but daddy, oh, daddy, that you'll be back someday. Well, there's 16 under the bleachers in high school. Yeah, well, cool is 21, drunk on the dance floor. Oh, but I prefer to stay out with the birds. Late nights and a sunrise for two. So let's kiss while we're young, baby, 'cause I can't promise I'll keep my hands to myself. Oh, but let's drive far away. And I said, I will tell you, daddy, that you'll be back someday. So let's kiss while we're young, baby, 'cause I can't promise I'll keep my hands to myself. Oh, but let's drive far away. And I said, oh, but tell you, daddy, that you'll be back someday. Oh, but tell you, daddy, that you'll be back someday. Oh, you know you will. Everyone says it's not your fault. Everyone else is wrong. They don't believe me when I say you're gone. Lord, please forgive what I've done. Baby, don't give up on me, 'cause I never gave up on you. Baby, if we see it through, we just might make it. The day I was born, I knew your name, if only in my dreams. I traveled this world just to sing your song. Lord, I just hope that you like it. Baby, don't give up on me, 'cause I never gave up on